going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are all doing well. I've got two good clips for you. Yeah, you guys want to watch some court? Let's watch some court. Thank you all for hanging out, and let's go. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Now let's go.
And with regard to when you were in the academy, did they teach you how to use the equipment?
Oh, yep. Sorry, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot what clip I was playing. All right, this is the pro se. That's I guess you can hire an attorney in a traffic matter, but yeah. Anyways, man, not going down that rabbit hole. He doesn't do a bad job. Doesn't do a good job either. But I found it interesting that. What defenses he uses. That's what you have to pay attention to. But we are starting with the first witness. We only missed maybe 2 or 3 minutes of it. But, yeah, this is all I got. So you're going to have to forgive me for missing the first 2 or 3 minutes of the hearing. But you didn't miss anything except for them calling the police officer as a witness.
Yes.
And did they teach you how to do competence checks?
Yes.
And with regard to the laser that you had in your cruiser that day on June 21st, did you do one of those competence checks on that laser?
Yes.
When did you do that?
When did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd started my shift.
And can you describe for the court what you do during a competence check?
So you would essentially turn the laser on, and it passes all the LCD screen test. The lights activate, the letters are there, numbers are there too. I then switch it over to test mode, and it goes to TT for test tone. That is a scope alignment test to make sure that the scope on the actual laser is functioning properly. I then go to the delta distance test.
Let's just wait a second. What do you do with the scope to make sure the alignment is correct?
Pick an item that's in the background, like a telephone pole, and then I pull the trigger and scan it back and forth, and the laser tells me whether or not it's hitting something or not, and then I turn it to the side and do it horizontal and vertical as well.
Okay. And then you said next is the delta distance check?
Yes.
Could you can continue, please.
So with that, I have two markers set out at different distances, one at 150 feet and one at 175 feet. And I check the distance between the two of them, and it comes back to the difference of 50 miles an hour. And that tells you that the test is passed and the laser is functioning properly.
Okay. And these markers that you're referring to with regard to the distance checks, are they stationary in the ground?
Yes.
So you can't move them, the wind can't shift them?
No.
Okay. And how do you know where to stand or where to start your laser check from?
We have a spot marked out at the post.
And how is it marked?
It's spray painted white on the ground at the stop bar.
Okay. And after you conducted the competence check that you just spoke about, did you have any concern with the proper working order of that laser?
No.
And did you use that laser throughout your shift that day?
Yes.
Did you have to take it out of service for any reason?
No.
Okay. Now, I want to draw your attention to approximately 8:39 p.m. What were you doing at that time?
I was working on State Route 16 at milepost 17.
Okay. And around that milepost, is that in Granville,
Yes.
King County, Ohio?
Yes.
What first drew your attention to the defendant's vehicle?
I saw a white Mercury going through the construction zone. It's posted 55 miles an hour speed limit. The defendant's vehicle is traveling much faster than it was intended to be. It was in 55 miles an hour zone, and that's when I used my laser to activate it and check the speed of the car.
And what did you check his speed at?
Initially I checked it at 78 and then 77 miles an hour, and then as the defendant seed me, I could see his vehicle visibly drop down as he was hitting the brakes, and my last check of it was 61 miles an hour.
Okay. And after you received those readings from your laser, did you initiate a traffic stop?
Yes.
And between the time when you checked the speed and the time you initiated a traffic stop, did you keep visual contact of that vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And when the vehicle pulled to the side, did you then make contact with the driver?
Yes.
Did you ask for identification, proof of insurance, things of that nature?
Yes.
And is that when he became known to you as Michael Christopher Sutton?
Yes.
Do you see Mr. Sutton in the courtroom?
Yes. This gentleman right here in white shirt.
Okay, thank you. And when you approached Mr. Sutton, did you tell him why you initiated a traffic stop?
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say about the speed, if anything?
He said he didn't realize how fast he was going.
Okay. Now, when you were gathering information from Mr. Sutton, did you check his driver's license status?
As I was up at the car speaking with him, I could hear my dispatcher on the radio say that his status was suspended. And then after I received all the information from him, I went back to check it at my MCT, and I could see that his status was suspended at that point too.
And what is an MCT?
It's the mobile computer terminal.
And is that computer in your car?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it linked to so that you can see what his driver's license status is?
It is linked through LEADS. It's the law enforcement automated data system.
Okay. And that gives you the status of anybody's driver's license?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, I'm going to show him this exhibit.
What's that contain?
It's the B&B, it's your certified records from the B&B.
Okay.
Trooper Bobby, I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 1. Does that document that you're looking at, do you know what it is?
Yes, it's the.
That is a great question. I should have said this. This is in Ohio. I don't know where at in Ohio this is. It's one of the 2 or 3 courts that I watch that are in Ohio. And, well, because I live in Ohio, I try to pay attention to these courts. But, yeah, don't always get all of them, which is why we started late for this. But this is a pro se. He's not a sovereign citizen. I was really hoping for it. But, no, wasn't a sovereign citizen. But it's still interesting, so we're playing it. Jedi, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. Welcome to the 5 new members. Thank you so much, Jedi. Members Monday in 2 days. So yeah, welcome members. Thanks again, Jedi.
Official certified request for the BMV of his documents for his driver's statuses.
Okay. And on that document, does it appear on the front page, does it appear to be the official seal for the state of Ohio?
Yes.
And does it state any identifying information on that first page?
Yes, it has the defendant's first, middle, and last name, date of birth, and last 4 of his social.
Okay. And does that match the information that you got from the defendant that day?
Yes.
And if you could please, I believe it's page 1, 2, 3. Could you tell me what his license status was on June 21st of 2024?
June 21st. The status was suspended.
Okay. Now.
On June 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Trooper Wathy, did you issue any citations to Mr. Sutton?
Yes, I did.
What did you issue?
I issued a speeding ticket and a driving under suspension citation as well.
Okay. Now, with regard to the citation itself, is there anything on the citation that needed to be corrected?
Yes, during the writing of the ticket, as I was switching back and forth between the screens, I accidentally put Mr. Sutton's middle name as his first name, and then I messed up his date of birth. I put as 6/16 instead of 6/19.
Okay. I have nothing further.
All right. Mr. Sutton, at this point, you have the opportunity to ask Trooper Wathy any questions that you have regarding his testimony, if you wish.
Okay.
And so, do you have questions for Trooper Wathy?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and direct
How you
them to
doing
him.
today, Trooper Wathy?
Excuse me?
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm alright. When you was asked how you identify my vehicle or something like, or you said that that it was a white Mercury, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And when you got my identification, you identified me as Michael Christopher Seth, correct?
Yeah.
And you've been a trooper for how many years?
12. I've been with the Highway Patrol for 12 years.
Highway Patrol, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, well, can I approach you and show you something?
Show it to the prosecutor first, if you would, and then if you want to show it to the trooper, is it regarding his testimony or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you'll show it to the prosecutor first and then present it, you can approach the witness and show it to him at that point. Okay?
Yeah. All right, good. Even though I heard you tell him, this is not me. He said he identified a white car. That's silver.
Okay.
And from my understanding,
You can ask him
that's not
questions.
my name.
Show it
You
to
can ask him
the,
questions.
she's seen it, now you show it to the witness.
Sam, on this ticket you said you identified me as Michael Christopher Seth. That's not my name. There's no Michael in there. That's not my date of birth. And you said you seen a white Mercury. That's silver.
Okay.
All right, so what he's doing right here is he's essentially trying to prove his innocence by just showing a piece of paper. It's not how it works. You know, you show it to the prosecutor so she knows what you have, show it to the officer, and then you ask him questions about it. So he's testifying essentially. Again, he's not wrong, but I do believe he made one key mistake, and I'll bring that up at the end. But yeah, this is not; those aren't the right places. You're not having a conversation with the officer right now. That's not how this works. Jedi, that's a good question. I think it is actually maybe his registration and maybe a copy of the ticket. So what his biggest argument is that the officer put down incorrect information on the ticket. He put, instead of his first and last name, he put his middle name and last name, and then he messed up the color of the car. So that's what his complaint is. Because he messed up the ticket, the ticket should be dismissed.
I just made a mistake when I said white today. And like I was explaining earlier, when I was writing the ticket out, I was switching back and forth between the screens.
All right, but I need to have a seat now.
That's a great question. The biggest answer to that is Michigan courts are all over the internet. Ohio, not so much. I've only found 3 courts in Ohio, and I watch them every day. I have maybe 30 to 40 courts in Michigan, so just by numbers, I get more content out of the Michigan courts. Also, maybe just, it's a lot more exciting up there in Michigan. Defendants are always yelling at judges. And for some reason, there's something in the water where they just breed sovereign citizens. So that too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I'm saying from my understanding in the state of Ohio, like as far as traffic tickets and citations go, the information has to be precise. And if there's any mistakes like color of the vehicle, date of birth, name, the ticket is subject to be void.
Is that a question you're asking the trooper?
Yes, a question.
I don't have
Is
an
that
answer.
correct?
I've never heard that.
You never heard that.
Not a lot, but some do.
Well, I'm saying, like, as being a highway patrol for 12 years, aren't you subject to know these things?
We can't know everything, obviously, and if I did know that and that was a thing, then we would have taken
Not
care of
everything,
everything.
but just so much as how to write a citation correctly.
Objection, Your Honor. I think he's asked and answered. He's already
Yep.
explained why.
He did indicate that he made an error here, Mr. Sutton, but okay, I'm going to what we call sustain the objection. He has answered your question. regarding that.
I'm saying like, error, like, okay, errors like that, or that's not just an error, that's important information, correct?
What is important
Like
information?
regarding as far as the traffic stop goes and which car and which color of car you seen and the person that you wrote the citation to.
I wrote it to
That's
the.
very sensitive.
Okay. First off, Raven, yeah, you're right. But I feel like that's in every state. If every state had a bunch of courts that streamed, there'd be a bunch of different there would be a lot of content out there. But pretty much we have Michigan, Kansas, Washington, and Texas. Those are the 4 big states with a lot of different courts streaming. And Kansas isn't even really that big. There's only 2 or 3 courts, and it's all the same judges that work in multiple different jurisdictions. Anyways, back to the case. So like I said, this guy has a valid argument. He's just not doing it the right way. Now, the ticket isn't an expensive ticket. The judge says how much it is at the end, and so it wouldn't have made sense to hire an attorney unless you just didn't want the points on your record. But I think if he would have gone about this the right way, he may have been able to win this case. And there's still another thing that comes up, that reason why I think this.
Information, correct?
I wrote it to the correct person. I told you earlier that I made a mistake when I was going back and forth between the screens.
I'm saying, but okay. When you said that you made a mistake between my name and birthday, you failed to mention that the color of the car that you stated was incorrect.
I have a silver car on there, and I said white here on accident. I've explained that already.
You didn't say it on accident. You just said that when I brought that to your attention, and you just stood there and put your hand up like this and said you was a white car. That's how you identified it. That's what you told the prosecutor.
Is that a question, Mr. Sutton?
There's questions and they facts.
All right. Do you have any additional questions of Trooper Wathy? Wathy?
Oh yeah. When were you aware of the mistakes that you made on the citation?
The court had notified me about it.
Was that today?
No.
So she didn't just bring it to your attention the mistakes that was on the citation?
No.
That's not true.
Any additional questions, Mr. Sutton?
I don't have any additional questions.
Any redirect on behalf of the state?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Yes, sir.
Any additional witnesses?
We have no additional witnesses, Your Honor. We would ask to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit Number 1, which is the certified BMV record.
All right. Mr. Sutton, do you have any objection to the admission of State's Exhibit 1? That's your driving
Yes.
record. What's your objection, sir?
What I'm saying, what does my record have to do with mistakes that's made by the trooper? Like prior to this event?
Well, it's evidence regarding your your driver's license, whether it's in good standing or whether it's under suspension. And it has whether or not the citation was correct when written that's not something that would prevent the court from considering your driving record.
Okay,
So-
you could. I don't have no problem looking at my driving record.
Okay, well, the court's going to admit then State's Exhibit 1 into evidence, and anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sutton, the state has rested in this matter. Now, I don't know if you have any evidence.
Oh, Raven, I don't know if you're talking about Judge Middleton's court, but he had a giant problem with that a few months ago. Maybe it was closer to a year ago. But they had a process server that was just a temp process server working for a company, and he never served anybody. He would just write down that he served them, and he did it for months before he was caught, and now he's in jail. So, yeah, that's a big deal.
To present or you wish to testify. As I indicated at the beginning of this trial, you have the right not to testify. No one can compel you to testify in this matter. You can certainly decline to testify, or you may testify if you wish, but if you choose to testify, you'll be placed under oath in this before your testimony. You can stay there. You don't have to come to the witness stand. You can then testify, but as I indicated, the prosecutor would then have the right to cross-examine you at the conclusion of whatever evidence you wish to present in testimony. So at this point, do you wish to testify, sir?
Yes.
Okay. If you would just please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn.
Stand up and raise your right hand. You solemnly raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case now being heard should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God, or under the penalty of perjury.
Yes. And that's there's no way, like, the information is not correct. And it's not correct. It's not written correctly, and it's not valid.
Okay. Anything further?
There's nothing like, okay, so it's just not me. Like, if the name is incorrect, like, who's to say the address is correct, or
You just testified.
the city is correct? And when he identified me, he said he identified a white Mercury. That's incorrect.
Okay. Yeah, and anything further you wish to tell the court?
No.
Okay. Any cross-examination?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sutton, you just gave your address for the court, correct, at 608?
Yep.
Okay, and is that what it says on the ticket?
Yep.
Okay, and is your middle name Christopher?
Yep.
Is your last name Sutton?
Yep.
And is your driver's license, do you own do you drive a 1999 Mercury 4-door on June 21st?
All right, there was a lot of sensitive information right there. When this video is over, I'm going to have to go back in and edit that out, which I figured out how to do the other day, so I can do that. All right, I'm going to tell you where this guy messed up, because I think I was reading the chat and I missed it. He said this, but he actually went to the courthouse and told them the ticket was wrong. They didn't have the amended ticket until after he did that. When he notified them that the ticket was wrong, then the court notified the officer, and the officer amended the ticket. So if he wouldn't have done that and then just showed up to court and said, "This isn't me," and the information was wrong, I think he probably would have won this case. But he made the mistake of doing that. So maybe that's not how it works where he lives, because he says he's from Columbus, and this isn't Columbus. So maybe in Columbus that would have automatically dismissed it, but I'm gonna guess it's different by jurisdiction. So that's where he messed up. But his argument isn't a bad one. You put the wrong information on the ticket. That's not me. Case dismissed. I mean, it's not a bad argument. It's an actual defense, but yeah, you gave the court the heads up. Not the best move.
Yes.
And are the last four digits of your social security number 8743?
Yes.
And so you were not you're saying that you were not the person he pulled over for speeding and driving without a license that day?
On this, I'm saying on this,
I said, are you, yes or no, are you the person he pulled over that day on June 21st for speeding, not having a valid driver's license? Were you that person that he pulled over that day?
yes.
Okay, I have nothing further.
All right.
Yeah, that's why you don't. It's never a really good idea to testify, even in traffic court. That last question, done. He just lost the entire defense now. Even if the judge was gonna dismiss it because he was right, the ticket was messed up. No, were you the guy that was pulled over that day? Yes. All right, done. Case closed.
Okay. Do you have any other witnesses, Mr. Sutton? Any?
No.
Okay. Closing argument on behalf of the state?
Thank you. Just briefly, Your Honor, if you would look in the court file, it does reflect that his date of birth and his name was amended prior to today's hearing. So Trooper Wathy did notify us. We did have that corrected via entry from Judge George. So that is corrected. With regard to the testimony, we would just ask for you to consider all of the testimony and find the defendant guilty. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Sutton, closing argument?
Yes. She named 2 to 3 things that were correct on the citation. I can name 2 to 3 things that were incorrect. How does that see me for being guilty? I don't. This ticket is a citation by a state trooper with experience. This should be voided. And when I came here for my first, when I first had the court date for pretrial or my arraignment, I was trying to get it voided that day. But y'all's court worked different to Columbus. If this was Columbus, it would have been voided. I showed him my ID and my citation and told him it's not me, and he took upon himself.
All right, I was wrong. I didn't realize they had a pretrial. They had a pretrial for. I mean, I guess you go to court and say you want a hearing or a trial, so that's what this is. So that makes sense. All right, he said that at pretrial. Now that's interesting that he said that at pretrial, and they still gave him the trial and corrected the ticket for trial. That's interesting that they were allowed to do that, because that's kind of to amend it after the I don't know. I understand why this guy's fighting this ticket. I understand it.
And tried to make it correct. And he wasn't aware of that when he wrote the citation. I don't know what he was seeing what car he pulled up when he's saying it's a white car. And on my citation, on this citation is not mine. The person's name on here, his first name is Christopher Sutton. There's no Michael on the citation anywhere. Michael Sutton, my birthday is June 19th. This is June 16th. Like, that's a whole different person. Like, and with these mistakes that's incorrect on this ticket, who's to know what is correct and what's not? He already made it clear for the court that he identified a white car, and I was not driving a white car that day. That should be all anybody else has to hear right there. With the name and the date of birth on the ticket being incorrect.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Sutton?
That's all.
Okay. Well, look, Mr. Sutton, you admitted in your testimony that you were driving. You had your chance to talk. It's my turn.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and the judge said it. This is why you don't testify on your own behalf. I mean, unless you really know what you're doing, but you had to expect that question was coming. I mean, maybe he didn't, but that's all the prosecutor had to say. It's like, oh, you're saying your defense is this wasn't you. Okay. Were you the one driving? Yep. Done. Should have kept your mouth shut. Should have just kept with the ticket thing and let the judge decide.
You indicated that you were driving. So did Trooper Wathy here also indicated that he identified you. Now, I'm not going to say there weren't some mistakes made. We have an amendment process in Ohio for so that justice will be served. In other words, look, we all make mistakes, but here's the thing. Your social, the identification of you, he did have the correct, it was the correct vehicle that he stopped. On the date here of June 21st of 2024, you did not have a valid license. You did have insurance, which is great. But here's the thing. Based upon all the testimony and the plaintiff's exhibit that I have in front of me, I'm going to have to find you guilty for the 2 charges of speeding and driving under a suspended license. Does the state have a recommendation as to penalty in this matter?
Your Honor, we don't. We would just defer to the court
Okay.
with regard to any fines.
Mr. Sutton, at this point, you know, you can, if there's something you'd like to say to the court regarding
I just feel like
penalty, I'm certainly willing to listen. Is there anything you'd
I
like?
just feel like maybe if he said a white car, he pulled over the wrong car. But then this was me that he pulled over, and I do got a speed, and my license is valid. And I just don't see how I can't just pay a fine and this not be on my driving record or something.
Well, these are just finable offenses, okay?
Yeah, but I don't want no speed.
So I
feel like we shouldn't even have no trial for this thing.
well, the court's found you guilty. I think, I don't know what
I can't
you're,
plead guilty to
I'm not
citation
asking you to
my
plead
name.
guilty because the court found you guilty, sir. Here, look, I don't want to beat you up on this. I want you to get your license valid. You don't have a valid driver's
I do,
license.
He
though.
does now.
I do.
You do now?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't on June
My license
the
been valid
24th.
since-
Hey, you spoke, it's my turn. Listen, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Take advantage of that. Now, you didn't have a valid driver's license, you do now. You had insurance, great, but you were speeding. You know, you made this a little worse than it needed to be. Here's what the court's going to do. I'm going to make it a $50 fine for the speeding violation. I'm going to make it a $50 fine for the non-compliance suspension under 4511.16. That's a total of $100 fine and court costs. You'll have time to pay it. You don't have to pay it today. But keep your insurance, keep your driver's license valid. Those are the 2 important things. And watch your speed, okay? That's all we're going to ask of you. So, you'll go with the bailiff here to the clerk's office, and I wish you the best, sir. Good luck.
All right. Out of Ohio. I like that judge. I like him. he was really patient with the defendant, even when he was constantly interrupting him at the end. He did kind of say something, the 2 ears and 1 mouth. Anyways, yeah. Next case. Next, we're going to Judge Garcia in Texas. Another small claims matter. This one is on the same docket that the video I played last night was on. I think this might have been right after it or right before it. I don't remember, but this is a good one as well. This is an interesting case. Yeah, it's good. Okay, let's go.
Ronette Hendricks and Ismail. Miss Ronette on this side, Mr. Ismail on this side. Good morning, ma'am. All right, go ahead, Miss Hendricks. Give me a brief overview of why you're here and what you're asking for.
Okay, Your Honor, in 2023 April, my daughter and I took her van to Car Solution, where aka Mr. Smiley was the mechanic. We picked the car up on February the 28th, 2024.
A year later.
Yes, my daughter, she went in on May to pay $1,000 in 2023, and she was scheduled to pick it up on the 15th, when she got paid.
Of June?
June, yes. However, she had a stroke. Okay, so during that time, actually, Mr. Smiley called me, and that's when I explained to him what was going on. I had just recovered because I'm disabled, so I was just to the point to where I was walking. So anyway, moving forward, when we picked the car up on February the 28th, it was shaking. The engine light was beeping. I mean, it was bad. So I text Mr. Smiley, also called, no response. He did return my call on, what was it, May 1st, and he said I could return the car.
Okay, so
I
how
have
much total
text.
was paid? 1,000?
Yes.
Just 1,000?
Okay, no, when I paid the car off, here, I have the receipt.
Okay.
I have text and everything here. I have all my paperwork.
Okay, so how much total did you pay him?
Okay, total, we pay like 38,
I don't want how much is the
38.61.
total?
38.61.
38.61,
Mhm.
okay. 30,
I'm sorry, 38.16.
38.16.
Yes.
Okay. That was a total that was paid from beginning to end.
Yes.
Okay, let me see what you got. Okay, hold on. Okay, so, okay, the car's been there over a year due to medical, and then, of course, his own doing, plus your doing of medical from you and your daughter.
That is correct.
What was wrong with the van when you first
Okay,
put
he
it
was
in?
replacing the engine.
Engine
Okay,
replacement.
yes, it was the engine replacement. Okay, so Mr. Smiley and I, we were going back and forth. I know once Mr. Smiley replaced the engine, when I asked to see it, he stated that he would have had to charge me $150 to keep the engine on the property. So I asked, did he have any pictures? No. I said, well, where did you purchase the engine from? He always referred to that person as the guy or the gentleman. He never gave a name to where he purchased the engine. I found out when I picked up the car on the 29th that the warranty had expired for the maintenance as well as labor. Mr. Smiley never did a diagnostics on the car until I returned it on the 29th, May 1st. He's never checked the car. First, he said the battery was dead. Then he said he couldn't test drive it because.
But you don't even know if you needed it.
Correct. Mr. Smiley, okay, if you look on, I have the receipt. Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm on medication. We replaced the battery on February the 24th, okay? Mr. Smiley stated.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that in court. I'm under medication. That's why. That's why I'm stuttering and slurring my speech. Yeah, yeah. If this wasn't small claims, the judge would be like, "All right, I can't take your testimony. We're going to reschedule this." Not the best thing to say. But yeah, you guys are right. If you're replacing an engine, especially in a van, if you're replacing an engine in a van, might as well just get a new van. Unless it was a really nice van, I don't know. But yeah,
That he couldn't do a diagnostic because the battery was dead on the car. Okay. He stated he couldn't test drive the car because the tags were expired.
Was this after he put the engine in or before?
Yes, after he put the engine in. Mr. Smiley said the first he drove the car only one time, and that was in December when he met us at the title loan place on Walsham, because we were gonna try to get a loan to pay the car off. However, they wouldn't give us what we were asking for in the monthly payment. We would not have benefited from that.
Okay, so what are you asking for right now, Ms. Renee?
Okay, so when I filed my claim, I asked for the 4,000 back plus an additional 4,000 because Mr. Smiley, when he called me on May 6th, Mr. Smiley stated that he had to replace the engine, that he would have to replace the engine, plus I would have to pay for parts and labor. So I'm like, why am I paying for another engine? You just.
But you didn't pay him that other four.
No, I did not.
So you can't
No,
get.
but
future
we're out of
money.
pocket. I paid him for a car that's not fixed, the 3,800. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but not for the additional 4,000. You can't get for future money. Okay, so right now you're just asking for what,
Yes,
and you didn't give him 4,000, gave him 38,600.
correct,
So that's
Uh-huh.
what you're suing for.
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Give me 1 minute. Go ahead, Mr. Ismail. Did you, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here I have, I made some copies,
Okay, what are you showing me first?
a couple of copies of, text and, documents of the, repair that I did for it. And as you can see on, one of the pages, the first page right there, it's got a document from, A to E, A to E of the, repairs that I did, the payments have been made for, the text between me and the customer,
Mhm.
and the purchase of the repair of the engine,
Okay, where'd you get the engine from?
from, Main
Don't
Auto
tell me a
Parts.
guy.
Main Auto Parts.
Main Auto Parts? Okay, so what's the issue right now?
Okay, on the first page here, back in, Thursday, April the 4th of 23, that, says, had a text from, Miss D, says, that his daughter, I want to see if, how much would it cost to have the vehicle to where I work at. I said, okay, well, I need an address and I can call the truck driver. I can let her know how much would it cost to have a tow vehicle to the place. I said, okay, I also want to need an address where the vehicle is at, so I can get a price. I said, okay, so I called the truck driver, told him how much would it cost. Truck driver gave me a code. I texted her and told her it would be $75 to have it towed to the shop. Once the vehicle was brought in to the shop where I work at, I diagnosed the vehicle. Then I called her and I told her the engine is locked.
Do you have the diagnostic?
No, I don't have no diagnostic. I just figured it out. I just did check in the vehicle.
So you just eyeballed it? You didn't
No,
do
no,
a
I did some testing on it because I tried to
Okay,
turn the
so
engine.
if you did a diagnostic, you should have it printed out, correct?
Yes, but I didn't bring it up because I don't bring out the diagnostics. I just tell the customers what's wrong with the vehicle. And, we take it from there. So I told her how much the engine was gonna cost.
And
parts
how much was
labor.
the engine?
Okay, the engine was,
2391?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's including parts and labor. And, including, gallon of antifreeze, a serpentine belt, oil and oil filter, including it all together. He agreed to it.
$2,391. I believe that's what he said for a new engine. Is that all an engine costs? That seems ridiculously low to me. I am not a mechanic, so I have no idea. That just seems really low. Yeah, I yeah, maybe he did buy it from a junkyard, scrapyard.
So I purchased the engine back in, yeah. It was back in April.
Okay, you bought the engine, keep going. The
Yes,
date's not
I bought the engine
irrelevant
back
right
in
now.
April, before May the 1st, because that's when I had finished the vehicle.
Okay.
And I had called her and texted her, let her know that, the vehicle's ready to be picked up and how much for the amount. I never got a response.
Right now, hold on, Mr. Ismail. So did you fix the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, so what is the issue? Who's got the vehicle?
I do not.
Why doesn't she have it?
Because she did took the vehicle, that, because she didn't finish paying all of it until back in, yeah. Back in, February the 28th, 2024.
Okay, so she paid it off.
Yeah, she finally paid it off.
Why do you have the vehicle?
Okay, when she went to go pay it off, she took, just test drive the vehicle. It was me, her, and her daughter. We went for a drive. She was happy with the vehicle. There was nothing wrong with the vehicle. We drove it for about 30 to 45 minutes. We drove the vehicle. She was happy with it. That's when she paid me the money and I gave her the receipt. Okay, and about a day or two later, then she called me. She said something was wrong with the van. I said, okay, we'll bring it back so I can see what was wrong with it. So I put the scanner in there because I had a check engine light on, and but I had a misfire on cylinder number 2, port number 6.
So the engine that you got had a misfire.
Right. But
Okay.
all this time, I did start it between then, so before she picked up the vehicle, I did start the vehicle once in a while to make sure everything was running. I mean, I did not test drove it outside, no place for it.
Right.
I did start it there.
Okay, but she just got the vehicle back and we already know that there's a misfire. So where are we at now?
Okay, well, and then she brought the van back and she told me that they had a misfire. I said, okay, well, let me find out. I diagnosed it, I used my scanner, found out that cylinder number 6 had a misfire. Went and go ahead and did some more tests to it. Pulled the spark plug out, I used my scope on it to see maybe the valves were opening or closing. And it turned out to be one of the valves that's not opening, it's staying stuck. So I said, okay, well, then I called her up and said, okay. And the reason why it has a misfire is because one of the valves, it only has 2 valves, one which is intake and one the exhaust. The intake valve is not opening. What can cause for that is to have a bad rocker arm, bent push rod, a bad lifter. It will cause it for not to open. I said, okay, then what can we do? I said, well, the warranty's already expired, ma'am, you know that.
Okay,
I did,
okay,
well,
stop right there. How is the warranty already expired if she just picked up the car?
Because the warranty starts from the day the vehicle is finished,
And when was the vehicle finished?
back in May of 2023.
And why didn't anybody pick it up? I know she had medical, but you took a year to pick it up due to medical?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your issue then. If that vehicle was ready and you didn't pick it up, then we can't extend the warranty because you didn't pick it up. That warranty started when the vehicle was finished. Then you had a year that he saved it for you to pick up. Okay? So,
But during that time, we made payments and Mr. Smiley stated he never checked the engine when he purchased it, that it was never checked. That it was never put in a diagnostic. That's what he told me, the engine was never checked.
can I see the
And he was
warranty?
checking with the guy, if you look on page 9 with my text, Mr. Smiley was checking with the guy that he referred to see if he would work with him as far as getting the engine. As far as getting a, new engine.
Okay, but Miss Ronette, what I want to know is why did it take you a year to pick it up?
You know why, Your Honor? Because my daughter, I was having issues. I explained it to Smiley. He was very compassionate. He said he would work with me, that he understood. My daughter had just had a stroke. I was just getting to the point to where I was walking. I was on a walker. I was on a cane. I had my 3 grandchildren. So
Nobody else could have picked up the vehicle. You
Mhm.
don't have no family,
This is
nobody else. You're the only ones in this world that
no,
talk
we're
to
not,
each other.
we're not the only ones in
This
this
is the
world, Your
ones in
Honor,
our
but
family.
with everything that was going on at that point, this was a
And I get it. I get that you couldn't have just gotten up and left. I get it. But you also got to remember that the mechanics, their responsibilities are not to store your vehicles
I understand.
because you can't get there,
Mhm.
because that costs them money.
Mhm.
And I can't expect him to delay a warranty when that vehicle had been sitting there for 365 days because of your doing.
Right.
Because nobody in this world could go pick it up for you. Nobody could even remotely go by and turn it on, pick it up after you have just put out $4,000. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. I get why you didn't go the first couple of months, but you're talking about 365 days that that vehicle had been sitting in his yard at his expense. Okay, and he had no right. He could have thrown it out on the street.
No, he threatened to sell the vehicle quite a few times.
Well, I
and to
mean,
make a payment, and I understood that. I'm like, I understand. So he was like, well, bring this amount. I would take the money, bring this amount, I'll hold it,
And pay
and
for
paying for
storage.
storage.
what happened, ma'am? Did you want to say something?
We paid for storage.
How much did you pay for
Yeah,
storage?
he
And how
told me
many
at
days?
the end, at
Because
first,
I don't think it was 365 days you paid
no,
for storage.
but, no, $1,000. At first, Mr. Smiley stated he was not gonna charge me for storage, and I'm like,
And he's, I mean, that's not an issue.
And
It's-
I know,
Nobody's
yeah,
bringing
and
up
the car
storage,
was
but
stored like not on the property of the car dealership. He stored it across the street. But the fact of the matter, Your Honor, is I did call him once we picked the car up and tried to make it right. Like we gave him $3,816.
give me hold on 1 minute, Ms. Renee. Mr. Ismail, where on here does it tell me where the warranty and what are the ramifications of the warranty? That just gives me a part number and date. I need to know what warranty it was, what are the terms of it, and when does it start, when does it end?
Okay, the warranty, anytime you buy a motor,
No,
Or
don't
any
give
parts?
me any time.
Okay.
Where is the paperwork that states
it
that?
doesn't say here,
So how does she know when that warranty starts?
because I explained to her, once the vehicle was finished, was repaired, I told you have 90 days on parts and labor.
Watch this. Did he explain that to you?
No, ma'am.
Do you see how that works
Not
out?
until I-
She's not gonna prove your case. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're over here basing your whole defense on a warranty
Right.
that expired, but you can't even produce me the warranty. You can't even produce what the warranty says. What if I tell you, okay, well, your warranty is for 30 days and it's just my word on it? Are you gonna believe me?
Probably,
But you don't know.
right,
So I don't have anything to back you up.
Right.
So I mean, without this, I don't even have a warranty. I don't even see where there's a warranty in anything that anybody is giving me. Besides that piece of paper that you gave me, and then that doesn't even tell me on that piece of paper where you see where it says warranty.
this,
Legal fiction. So the mechanic I go to since I moved up here, it's just a guy who just works with. It's just there's 2 guys in the shop, and they're great. I've had him do a few things on my car since I moved up here, but yeah, no, he has my information, and I live within walking distance, so I'm pretty sure if I left my car there, he would just drive it back. He'd be like, no, we're not keeping this here. We only have 4 spots. Take this back. We don't want it.
from right here?
Yes.
No, ma'am, it doesn't show.
So-
They showed me the receipt because
Okay.
at the time when I went to go get this copy, they couldn't give me a printout of the original receipt where I had got the first time, and it says there, the warranty on it.
That's what I
So,
need.
Right. Well, I couldn't get that one because, from the time that she had came by and said that she was gonna take me to court, I had to get this paper, and they couldn't give me one, so all they did was just printing me this paper out.
Well, you've been notified since May and you haven't had time to do it. We're in August.
Okay, no, when she told me that she was gonna come by and pick up the vehicle, after she had, said that the vehicle was, not running right, and she brought it back, then she said, well, I'm gonna take you to court. I said, okay. And then that's when I went over there to the main auto parts and asked him for a copy of the receipt. And all they could give me was this one, because since it was already too far off, and I've already gone maybe 2 or 3 months after I had bought the warranty, I mean, I bought the vehicle, I mean, the engine, then they would have given me a copy of the receipt that said that how much is the warranty, all the information that you needed. But like I said, I had the receipt, but I misplaced it. So the only way, only copy I could get was this, but it was too late.
Well, that
They
was a
couldn't
big
give me a original.
misplacement because you knew that this vehicle had been sitting there. You knew that she was gonna come back and fight for it at some point or another, because nobody's just gonna hand you $4,000 and just disappear.
Mhm,
And if you think that, you're more naive than I thought,
mhm.
okay? Because nobody just hands anybody $4,000 and you get to keep my vehicle and you never see me again. So you knew something was gonna happen with this vehicle. You just didn't know when or how,
Mhm.
okay? But for you to lose that receipt with that warranty, that was your golden ticket.
Right.
And if you can't find it, then there is no warranty. And if there is no warranty, then we have a bad car and you're responsible for it. That's how that works.
Hmm.
So now that you know all the details of what's going on, we've got 2 options. You can sit down and see if there's anything that can be worked out with y'all two, because at the end of the day, it's your company and you have a very upset customer. And if you get a judgment on you, that's going to not look good on your company. And this is how you make your money. But again, it's up to you what you want to do. But I can make my ruling. But right now, I have no warranty. That is where we stand.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to see if y'all can work something out? Or you
I'm
want me to
willing
make my
I'm
judgment?
willing to talk and see if we can work something out.
You willing to talk to him? Okay, go have a seat either in the back room or in that middle room. But I don't want to hear no screaming, no
No.
attitude, no nothing, okay? So, all right, all right.
All right, that's it. I, she never called them back up on the record. The YouTube ended shortly after this, so I don't know if they came back on the record and explained what, if they worked something out. I'm guessing they worked something out because it wasn't back on the record. Is what I'm going to guess, or at least not on YouTube. It probably was on the record. No, there's no record. There's no record in this court, so never mind. All right, that's all I got. Have you guys seen the video that I put out like 3 or 4 hours ago? The one where with the really weird defendant that happened this morning? Because if you haven't seen that, you need to go check it out. It is by far the best court hearing I've seen probably in 2 or 3 weeks. And she's not a soft sit. Like, it's amazing. In fact, you know what? I can probably play it right now. You guys want to watch it with me? I'll watch it again. Do I still have it or did I get rid of it? Oh, I still have it. You guys want to watch it with me or you want to go watch it on your own? I'll wait a few seconds to see what you guys respond. I don't think so. There was that one case, the one Michigan case that I covered a couple days ago or sometime this week. The mechanic said that he doesn't have to give a warranty, but if he does, it has to be in writing and it has to be on every receipt, and the customer needs to sign it. So when you give a warranty, you have to follow specific laws about it. So that's so yeah. All right. I'll play it. I even still have the raw footage, so we don't have to listen to me talk over me talking. So yeah, it's good. Usually I usually delete them almost right after I'm done. All right. All right, we don't need to watch my intro again. All right, here we go. All right. I do, if you guys don't mind, I would very much appreciate after we watch this, just go back onto that video of this exact same video. Just go hit the like button. If you go do that, I'll be very happy. So then we can get those likes up on this video. But this one was awesome. This happened this morning. I don't usually watch court that much on Saturdays. I generally try to clean out my court folder. Because I mean, I've got stuff that are 2 or 3 weeks old. So during the weekends, I try to play some of my older stuff that I have. Just trying to, like I said, clean out my folder. And I just happened to turn this on because this magistrate doesn't usually work on Saturdays. So I was like, oh, you know what? This has to be a sign. This has to be a sign to check this out. All right, get ready. Grab your popcorn, grab your Coca-Cola, and relax. Tell Colin it's ready. Let's go.
And all the way at the table. Thank you. Are you Cecilia Marie Terrell?
I am. A
All right,
wisest
thank
lady.
you.
I
And
want
don't say anything yet, ma'am. Okay, this is a process we got to go through. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Ms. Wanji, good morning to you. If you would enter your appearance, please.
Good morning, Magistrate Milmore, Melanie Wanji, Assistant Public Defender, on behalf of the defendants today. I would like to let the court know that I have not been able to interview Ms. Tahel. It was very difficult to talk to her at the time.
Okay, so don't say anything yet. First of all, Ms. Terrell, let me finish. Do you want to have an interview with Ms. Wanji? Just a yes or no?
No.
Okay, all right. Ms. Wanji, do you have any response to that?
I don't.
Okay, then Ms. Terrell, we're gonna get you arraigned, but you have to understand, you're not going to have any legal advice prior to your arraignment. And you're sure you don't want that advice, is that correct?
I'm positive. Not from her.
Okay. Okay, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get you arraigned then. Let me explain to you, first of all, that there is an allegation, there's a complaint here alleging on or about August 9th of 2024 at 419 Cherry Street, City of Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan. Count 1 alleges that you did attempt to commit the following listed offense and in the attempt did act towards the commission of that offense, but failed in the perpetration or was prevented in the execution thereof. Contrary to law, that you attempted to willfully and without authority take possession of and drive or take away or did assist in or was a party to such taking possession, driving or taking away of a motor vehicle, to wit, a Mazda belonging to another, to wit, Eugene Frazier. That is contrary to law. It is a felony. Maximum penalty, 5 years. Secretary of State to suspend driver's license for 1 year. Count 2 alleges that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger detention officer Cynthia Miller, a police officer of the Lansing Police Department that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing her duties. That is also contrary to law, a felony. Maximum penalty 2 years and or $2,000. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under Michigan law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement or under MCL 750.81D6 or another violation arising from the same transaction. Additionally, there is a count 3 alleging that you did enter or break into a Mazda, a motor vehicle, to steal or unlawfully remove property therefrom of a value of less than $200. That is also contrary to law, a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty, 93 days and or $500, or 3 times the value of the property stolen, whichever is greater. You should also understand that the prosecution has placed an habitual offender second offense notice on the complaint. So because you have a prior felony conviction, the maximum penalties on those charges may be enhanced. So do you understand the charges and the maximum penalties, Ms. Terrell?
Yeah, yeah, I understand the charges.
Okay.
I am
Okay.
completely
Don't say anything
prepared
else. Don't say
to
anything
fight
else, ma'am,
everything.
because let me tell you, you are
Who are you
being
saying don't
recorded.
speak to? I know, but ma'am,
Ma'am.
if I'm going to
Ma'am,
defend
listen to
myself,
me.
I have to defend myself.
You're not going to defend yourself at an arraignment. The time for you to arraign yourself, I'm sorry, to defend yourself is when you're talking with your attorney, or if you don't have an attorney, when you're talking to the prosecution. That is the time. Today, the only thing we do is advise you of the charges, the maximum penalties, and then we will give you a date to return to court. I will also ask you if you want to apply for a court of.
Oh, Jedi. She doesn't need an attorney. She doesn't need one, and you're about to find out why. And yes, you are gonna find out why. It's it's a classic. It's a classic. We've heard it before. Don't hear it very often. What's up, Doc? Good to see you, bud.
Appointed attorney. So we are not going to listen to any of the facts or anything that did happen or did not happen. That's not a discussion for today. Do you understand? I just need a yes or no, ma'am.
Oh, you want me to talk now? Yes, I understand.
Yes. Okay, good. All right, then you have rights and they're very important, and I'm not sure that you read the advice of rights, but we're going to go over them just to make clear that you do understand them. So you do have the following rights. You have the right to plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute. You have the right to a trial by a judge or a jury, and at that trial you can present or confront witnesses. If they would not appear, the court can order them to do so. You also have the right to a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one can be appointed for you at court expense. Additionally, you are presumed innocent, and if you are found guilty, it must be beyond a reasonable doubt. You also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or write can be used against you, and you always have the right to have a lawyer present with you.
We do this, isn't it?
I'm not done yet, ma'am. You have the right
It's kind
to
of
have a
hilarious how we do
lawyer.
this here on Earth, isn't it?
Ma'am, if you
It's
interrupt
speak,
me
speak,
again,
speak,
you're
speak.
going
I
to wait
have no
to get
right- I have no
arraigned
right to speak.
tomorrow.
What?
I'm telling you, anything you say is recorded today and can be used against you. I'm also telling you, ma'am, that if you interrupt me again, I'm going to stop the arraignment and we'll complete it tomorrow. That's up to you. So let me finish your rights. The last thing I was going to tell you is that you have the right to an attorney.
I don't know if you heard that. Underneath her brush, it's like chop, 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 chop. She's trying to hurry up the judge. Now, the judge has to put, it's the magistrate, sorry. The magistrate has to put all this on the record. It has to be there. You're defending yourself. You should know this. I mean, you're really good. I can't wait to see who your attorney is.
Present with you at any time that you are questioned. So one more time, I'm going to tell you that today is not the time to present your defense because, again, you're being recorded. You need to have privacy when you are talking about your defense. So do you understand the rights I've explained to you?
Yeah, I understand my rights.
Okay. Okay, good. Then, did you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Oh, no, thank you. God protects me. The Spirit speaks for me. I don't need a human to speak for me.
Fine. Okay. So let me just say, if you change your mind at any time, and you don't have to, but if you did change your mind, then you could request a court-appointed attorney when you come back to court for your hearing. Do you understand that?
On the 23rd?
Yes, well, we'll get to the dates here in just a minute, but you're right, it is the 23rd. Okay? All right. Now, you have two hearings because this is a felony. The first hearing is a probable cause conference that is scheduled August 23rd. You're correct, at 8:30 a.m. with Judge Tony Flores. You are allowed to appear.
All right. I jumped up for joy when I heard it was Judge Flores. He's a judge in Lansing, I believe. I believe he's in the Lansing courthouse, but he's a judge that I watch, and every time I'm watching an arraignment like this, that like, oh, I gotta have a follow up on this. I've got to follow this case, and then I hear the judge, and it's one that I watch. I got fireworks go off inside my head. I'm like, yep, we're gonna get around to. Now that's if she shows up, which I don't think she's gonna get out of custody.
By Zoom, if you would like to do so, and you have a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop that you can handle getting a good connection on internet, you can appear remotely. However, if you don't have access to the internet, or you don't have a phone, or you don't have any way to use Zoom, you must appear in person, and that's in Judge Flores's courtroom, courtroom 3 on the 6th floor of City Hall. Now that's the first hearing. The second hearing is a preliminary examination. You must appear in person on that date, and that is August 30th at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, I mean that is funny. I mean not funny, but it's when he has the video that goes viral. I mean that the driving guy, the Harris, I don't remember his name. Cody Harris, is it Cody? I don't remember, but his video had millions of views on, like, all the collective people that covered it, millions of views on that one video. So people are going to start watching him because of that, hoping that something happens. And yeah, that the contempt guy, I mean, 558 days in jail in contempt. That's, and I do think that he's going to, as long as he comes back and apologizes, I think Judge Simpson will wipe out 4 of those contempt charges. But so but he's probably still going to serve 93 days, and that's if we get an apology out of him. But I cannot wait to see him come back. He'll probably come back next week.
And again, with Judge Flores, courtroom 3 on the 6th floor of City Hall. Now, do you have the notice and the Zoom instructions, Ms. Terrell? Is to determine what is an.
All right, I need to explain what just happened there. This magistrate actually does an amazing job at this, and I love it because it saves me a lot of time. But when she goes over the personal information of the defendants, you know, the phone number, the address, anything, the actual personal information, she shuts off YouTube. She does not stream personal information, but then right when it's over, she pops it back up. So this was actually over 2 different videos. And yeah, so, and I didn't have to edit anything out. I just had to make sure I was waiting for the second video to pop up. And I'm glad I watched her to know she does that. Otherwise, I would have thought it was finished and I would have put out just the first half. But this part, way better than the first half.
Appropriate bond. The court's going to look at your income. We're going to look at your criminal history. We're going to look at your ties to the community. Look at the allegations. Look at everything possible that could determine 2 things. 1,
What was she
if
doing
you
over
are
there?
a flight risk, and number 2, she's just doing her job, ma'am.
Oh, she wasn't. She was just
not
doing something
representing.
weird. I just seen her doing something weird over there.
Okay,
You didn't see
Ms.
that?
Wanji. Okay,
Yeah.
she's not doing anything.
She was. I just seen her. I'm not gonna say I seen
Okay.
something I did not see. What was she just doing? Eating something?
Okay. This is now the 3rd time I've watched this, and I keep forgetting to look at what she was doing. So now that we're live, I'm gonna rewind this so we can actually see what she's talking about. Now it looked like she scratched her face or something, and that's about it. But I want to be sure.
Ties to the community. Look at the allegations. Look at everything possible that could
over there.
determine.
Yeah, did you see it? She literally just scratched her nose. That's it. She scratched her nose. All right, now watch the attorney. I just rewound it again so we can see it clearly. But I went back about 10 seconds, so it's going to happen in about 10 seconds. But watch her.
Appropriate bond. The court's going to look at your income. We're going to look at your criminal history. We're going to look at your ties to the community. Look at the allegations. Look at everything possible that could determine 2 things. 1,
What was she
if
doing
you
over
are
there?
a flight risk,
Yeah.
and number 2, she's just doing her job, ma'am.
Oh, she wasn't. She was
she's
just
not
doing something
representing.
weird. I just seen her doing something weird over there.
Okay,
You didn't see
Ms.
that?
Wanji. Okay,
Yeah.
she's not doing anything.
She was. I just seen her. I'm not gonna say I seen
Okay.
something I did not see. What was she just doing? Eating something?
Okay, ma'am, we're not going to talk about the attorney, okay?
Oh, we're not gonna talk about what she's doing, then I don't want to see her face.
Well, that's her business to be here, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. I am
Okay,
going to
my
address
business
your bond.
is going to
Okay.
be what I see. And I'm gonna say what I see. So what was she just doing?
Right. You want to get a bond or not? So just relax right now.
What was she just doing?
I don't know what she was doing.
Something weird?
I'm worried about you getting a bond. So let's get you a bond and try to get out of here today.
The fuck? You better watch yourself, lady. I'm protected by God. I wouldn't do that again to where I can see it, especially. You thought I was.
Ooh. Don't do that again, lady. I am protected by God. I mean, is that I don't know if that counts as a threat. Does that count as a threat? Does that count as a threat? I don't know. I mean, I'm not taking away from anybody's religion, what they believe in. I'm not taking away from that. But if I said, pointed a finger and like threatened someone with whatever my belief was, like as like pointing to them, is that a threat? It's like saying that's like no, I'm gonna stop talking about this. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's keep going.
Wasn't gonna see it.
Okay, ma'am, you need to be quiet at this point. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so at this point, I have very limited information to go on that would lead the court to believe that you are going to attend the hearing, or I'm not quite sure if you are.
Hey, good to see you, Katie Zed. You're coming in at the end. There's only about 3 or 4 minutes left of the live stream, but it is good to see you. Today's stream was fun. We had a pro se fighting a traffic ticket who admitted that you got to watch it if you want to. Second one was a civil small claims matter, but this one takes the cake. This one is hilarious. Hilarious in a sad way, but yeah, probably shouldn't laugh, but I can't help it.
A danger to the public. You don't have an address other than being outside, which is fine.
I'm not a danger
Makes it
to the
very
public
difficult
at all.
for the court to reach you. You don't have a phone, and you do have some past criminal history, a conviction of an unlawful driving away felony in July of 2021. So at this point, the court is not going to grant you a PR bond. I do not find that sufficient to ensure your appearance or the safety of the public. So I am going to set your bond on this at a $5,000, 10% bond. And the conditions of your release.
Knowing that I'm homeless. That's what you're gonna do?
Yes,
Knowing that
ma'am.
I'm homeless and I'm
Yes,
unemployed, $5,000 bond? Oh, I'm a danger to the public, even though I live in the public? Come on, bro.
Ms. Terrell.
Yeah.
I can set your bond higher if I have more.
All right. We need to make a list for all the best lines that she says, but I'm a danger to the public, even though I live in the public. Like, that's not what that means. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm a danger to the public, but yet I live in the public. You know what? Yeah, and then the bro. And then the bro at the end. Like, yeah, she's winning. She's winning every award. I told you, this has been my favorite clip for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and she's not even a sovereign citizen.
Concerns about whether or not you're going to appear. So
Do
I would
whatever you want to do.
request
That's
that
free
you at this
will.
time.
But what God does afterwards is also his choice.
Okay. Your conditions of release. Can you mute her for just a second so I can be sure that she's listening to me?
I'm listening.
Okay, very good. No alcohol or controlled substances without a prescription. You are not to leave the state of Michigan without permission from the court. You are not to possess or purchase any firearms, ammunition, or dangerous weapons. And you're going to have to report to pretrial services through either a personal interview or a phone interview. I'm also ordering that you not have any assaultive behavior towards anyone, and that you do not miss any court dates, and that you do not violate any state or local laws while you're on bond.
All right, are you guys watching the fact that she's putting her fingers in her ears? Yeah, that's a toddler thing. She needs checked. She needs checked. She does. Psych eval. I mean, maybe after a couple days, she might be going through detox. I don't like to say instantly that's what people might be dealing with, but there are some signs. There are some signs.
Additionally, if you are able to post that bond, I am requiring a CMH evaluation, or at a minimum, a social worker interview from the Lansing Police Department to ensure that you are safe and that you are not a danger to yourself or others. Those are your conditions, ma'am. All right. Do you have any questions about those conditions, Ms. Terrell?
Of course she's going to have questions. You're going to give her the opportunity to speak. She's going to speak. All right. I'm going to let this video play out, guys. Remember, because this was kind of a bonus clip, since I already released this one, just wanted to show you guys for the ones who haven't seen it. Please go to the video I released. It's literally the latest video that I released. So if you just click on my channel and click on videos, it'll be the top one. And if you look at the thumbnail, you automatically know that it's this person. So if you just want to jump over there and hit the like button on that video, I would appreciate it. You don't have to watch it again, but the like button would be appreciated. All right. You guys all have a great Saturday. Enjoy your Saturday night. I am not streaming tonight, but I will be back tomorrow. So I'll see you all then. Be safe. Don't do anything dumb. I will cover you. If you end up in jail and I see you, I will cover you. I will. No shame. No shame in that. Which, if I end up in jail, I'm going to cover myself. So, or at least we're on the same, we're on equal playing field. Okay. That's all I got. Jedi, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Again, I appreciate it. You guys all have a great weekend. Until next time, bye.
I do. Yeah, I do. First and foremost,
I just need to know if you do not understand what I just told you. You understand?
Okay, well, listen, here's the thing is you are not above me.
Okay. You're all set, ma'am. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Magistrate, may I have the case number if there is one?